What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Neeks Sports. Manchester United versus Brighton. We are back from the international break, and we have a huge chance, a massive chance of, I would say, really cementing our place in the Champions League next season, our place in the top four. We know we started the weekend 1 point ahead of Leicester. They went and lost to Manchester City. Bittersweet. We're not in a title race, so you're kind of thinking about the teams that's behind you. But I kind of wanted City to lose. Like, I don't want City to win. I think we'll get top four regardless of whether Leicester had beat them or not. But what it does do, it then gives us an opportunity. I guess it's a bit of a win-win. We're not going to win the league, but it gives us a bit of opportunity to pull a bit of a gap between us and the chasing pack. And I think finishing second is important. But as Gary Neville has said in the past, finishing a good second, it can't be how it's been when Man City got 100 points a few years ago. We were 19 points off them. That was a bad second because everyone's like, well, it was never a title race. At least this season, at one point, it was a title race. At one point, for a very short time, but it was. We can at least say that we took it past the new year until it kind of just went a bit sour in the last couple of weeks. Through injuries and just lack of quality in depth compared to Manchester City. And they went on this amazing run that I don't think anyone other than Liverpool could really match. And this season, of course, Liverpool were unable to do that. So for me, it's been a good weekend of results. Leicester lost. Chelsea got battered. Great result. Spurs drew today with Newcastle. Obviously, Liverpool beat Arsenal, but it is what it is again. I don't want Liverpool to get top four. I really don't. You take the banter, you banter Arsenal as you have to, but I don't want Liverpool to get top four. But yeah, so today's a big chance, a big opportunity to really put a gap between us and the chasing pack. I said we are 1 point ahead of Leicester with a game in hand. So if you win this game today, we will go 4 points clear of them. They don't have an easy run in, which is actually a bit of a worry for them in terms of finishing the top four. We know last year they capitulated and finished outside the top four. They're going to be wary about that again, but maybe being out of Europe, out of the Europa League, will benefit them. Chelsea still in the Champions League. Spurs are out. Liverpool are still in. And we're in as well. So maybe they can be a bit of a benefit for them being out of Europe. I think it'll be very unfortunate, but also maybe very telling of maybe Brendan Rodgers in terms of if they are to bottle this Champions League push this season. So we're 1 point ahead of Leicester with a game in hand. If we win that, we've got 4 points clear in second. Chelsea are 6 points behind us. We have a game in hand on them, so that'll be 9 clear of Chelsea in fourth. And Spurs are 8 points behind us, and we have a game in hand. So if you win that, we will be 11 points safe within the top four, 11 points safe of guaranteed Champions League football next season, unless the unthinkable happens. Unless Liverpool win the Champions League, Chelsea win the Champions League and fall outside the top four, and Arsenal win the Europa League, then the fourth place team would then get dropped out into the Europa League. But it's not going to go that far. 1, Arsenal ain't winning the Europa League. 2, Chelsea and Liverpool ain't winning the Champions League. And 3, we're not finishing outside the top four, outside the top 3. So we have no worries about that. We win this game today. For me, top 4 is secured. It doesn't mean you give up. It doesn't mean you start playing the youngsters and the second team for the rest of the season. But the gap is big enough. The gap is more than big enough. Really and truly 11 points to say, yeah, if you bottle from here, then heads will have to roll. That means manager, players, everything. Heads will have to roll. We've got Brighton today, just speaking Premier League, Spurs next week, Burnley, then Leeds after that. For me, that's at least, well, we'll go into the Brighton game today in a bit. Then we got Liverpool, Aston Villa, Leicester, Fulham, and Wolves. So we've got a decent run. You think Leicester, Liverpool, and Spurs will be tough games. But in all intents and purposes, compared to everyone else, we've got a pretty decent run between now and the end of the season. I see Danny in the chat. I did drop the StreamYard link in the United chat. on WhatsApp if you wanted to join. Obviously we'll be doing I'll be doing a post match after I go on the terrace after the match. But in terms of the team today, actually let me go through some of these comments before we get there. I'm sure you're going to be mentioning the team. Big up Devil's Avocado in the chat. First 11. Rachel, big up yourself. Adrian says, oh, this is to him, okay, and to everyone as well. This is opinions on Montgomery saying that it's the media who have done this and Ollie has treated David De Gea unfairly. I've actually given my opinion on social media, on Twitter. I'm going to bring in Danny now and he can actually give his thoughts on this whole David De Gea, Dean Henderson argument. Danny,
Neeks, what's good? What's good, man? Yeah, finally making my Neeks Sports debut.
Oh, good. Damn. Yes, welcome to the channel. And guys in the chat, make sure you go and head over to Devil in the Details, as the name is under there. Good shows on there, tactical breakdowns. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more. And obviously the Football Terrace, you catch Danny on there. And we've got some big moves coming in the very near future. But as my title says, Dean Henderson, new number one. What's your thoughts on potential of Dean Henderson being number one? And as Adrian put it, I put a comment back up regarding, he said Mark Goldberry's comments, and I'm sure there's a lot of people's comments about whether Solskjaer has been influenced by the British media in this decision.
Look, I've been on Twitter about this as well, and this is where I stand on this, right? The way the media covered De Gea and may not cover Henderson has nothing to do with how I view my players on my team. I don't care how the media cover anything. David De Gea has been inconsistent for 3 seasons. He made mistakes earlier on in this campaign, and Ollie didn't drop him straight away.
Yep.
So you could argue he's had a third chance to keep his place. I've always suspected Ollie didn't put Henderson in straight away because Henderson too has mistakes in him. And when you're dropping a senior player, especially who's earning the type of money he's earning, highest paid player at the football club, by the way, people, it's difficult to drop a player like that for someone who's gonna come in and not just be world class and perfect from the get go. It's a lot easier if you drop a senior player and the guy that comes in is like stellar with no flaws. But the problem is the guy made big mistakes, second mistakes, he kept making mistakes.
Yeah.
Then obviously it's a perfect storm. You were making mistakes and your position was under threat anyway. Then you know, life is more important than football. You go back to Spain. But the goalkeeper that's come in 2 key areas is better than you right now. Distributing the ball and playing out from the back and kicking it long, he's better. And he's more confident coming for crosses.
All right, 1 second. So on the second one, 100% agree on the coming for crosses. I do believe he's better with his feet. But how much better is he? No, how much better is he? Because I think it's a bit overstated how good people say he is. And then when I watch it, I'm like, he's not Edison. He's not Testegen.
Do you know what it is? But again, when the bar's low, we've done this analogy before. If you're on a private island and all the girls are 6 out of 10, and all the girls are 4 out of 10, you see a 6 and you think she's bloody Beyonce. That's what happens. This is what happens with us United fans. But it's the crossing one for me, Neeks. That's where you see David De Gea has regressed. We all know this. David De Gea not coming for crosses and not being brave and being a soft touch. This narrative was put to bed before Fergie retired. So you've had LBG Mourinho. David De Gea coming for crosses weren't a problem then.
Yeah.
Why is this a problem when he's 30? He's regressed.
Because regressed. Remember, this was an issue when he first came. His first season, and that's why he got dropped. If you remember, he got dropped for Anders Lindegaard for a period.
Oh, he was terrible.
Remember when I think it was we lost to Blackburn around the New Year's Day. Yakubu, I think we lost 3-2, and he was just getting bullied in the area, and then he got dropped for Lindegaard. And
your memory's way better than mine.
I remember it. But then he came back in by the end of the season. But as you said, he bulked up. He kind of became more confident. And this thing, it's like, I guess, he's developed his whole game, obviously, in Spain. And that's not really a big issue in Spain in terms of coming for crosses, the physical nature of it. And it's like, I don't know, has he reverted back to his norm, his type? Whereas before, I guess, you'd hope that you can kind of get rid of sometimes your nature. But sometimes, at times, maybe it just, especially when things are going bad. And now you have to think about your shot stopping, because his shot stopping was always, whatever was going wrong, his shot stopping was usually getting him out of trouble. a lot of the errors he's made in the past year or two has been shot stopping. The Mason Mount goal that they scored in the FA Cup semi-final. That's bad hands. Messi in the Champions League quarter-final, bad hands. So I think
I can give a deeper example. World-class David De Gea used to anticipate. So that goal we conceded against Leicester, which you could argue was Bruno's fault first because Bruno gave the ball away. Was it the Leicester game?
Which one? You're talking about just gone, or you mean the 2-2?
The 2-2, sorry, the 2-2 Leicester game when Bruno gave it away, the McTominay didn't step out, and then Lindelof didn't step out either. World-class David De Gea anticipates that.
Yes.
He anticipates that. You don't just stand still and let someone whip the ball into the corner. Like, trust me, 3 years ago, David De Gea saves that. That's what I'm saying to people. Forget other standards. I'm talking about his own standards.
That's the thing, because I looked at that goal. I remember the Harvey Barnes one. People saying David De Gea error. Like, David De Gea should have saved that by his own standards because he has proved that. Any other keeper, you'll say, all right, good shot. Maybe couldn't do anything better. But that's not the levels, one, that we expect from David De Gea, and two, from a Man United goalkeeper, because, he's not the first great goalkeeper we've had. We've had Van der Sar, we've had Peter Schmeichel. We went through a bad period where we couldn't get a good goalkeeper because our standards for a good goalkeeper are so high. Where Tim Howard may be good for Everton and Ben Foster may be good for Watford, that's not good enough for Man United. We've got high standards.
We decided to get rid of Howard as well? Oh, this is one thing I remember. I believe it was Hernan Crespo for AC Milan scores that header that Howard should have saved.
Yes,
and that's when we knew he was an elite goalkeeper. We had doubts, but in that moment it was like a top goalkeeper saves that. He's not good enough. And eventually we moved on. Same thing with Roy Carroll. We move on from these guys. But let me be clear, I'm not convinced Henderson is going to be a world-class goalkeeper. Let me say that right now. So I agree with us moving David De Gea on if that's what we're going to do at the end of the season. I'm happy to give Henderson a chance, and I anticipate him making mistakes. But he's 1 year in. It's his first. He's just coming into the team, so my tolerance for his mistakes is going to be higher than David De Gea's. That's just the game. It's how it is. But guess what? If Henderson ain't good enough either, I'll be calling for him to get replaced. I don't understand.
So let me ask you. So are you calling for David De Gea to be replaced?
Yeah, I've been calling for him to get replaced for months now. For months. I just need, you know what? I'm one of those guys, Neeks, where I'm just like, you know what? Let me see what Henderson could do for 8 to 10 games, and then we know why Ollie hasn't been picking him. Like I said, I knew Henderson had mistakes in him, and I knew that's why Ollie weren't picking him, because you can't just replace a goalkeeper like him. But he had so many chances, many chances, kept making errors. Henderson's got his chance. He's made some mistakes as well. So we're back to square one, if you will. But like, he's the future. David De Gea, isn't
he? That's the thing. He's definitely the future. And if you're gonna have two keepers that kind of got their own faults anyway, I prefer the younger one because they can get that out of him. Whereas David De Gea's at an age where you'd hope he'd be at his peak. But in reality, it looks like we've seen his peak already, which is much earlier than the general goalkeeper. But at least we got the peak out of him. At least we got the best out of him when we could. Can
I just stress this though, Neeks, to something you just said? If it was just concentration, that's all, just concentration issues with De Gea, I could look at it and say, because you know me, I love my history. Listen, Van der Sar ended up at Fulham for a reason. It took him a minute to get his mind right and come back. Then he had a second prime when he came back to United. He was already like 30 when he came to us, right? Or 28, 29, whatever it was. People left him at Fulham. He went from Juventus, I don't know where he went in between, but ended up at Fulham, right? If with De Gea it was just concentration, Neeks, I wouldn't be calling for him to be demoted or for him to leave even. It's because there's too many elements of his game that have just seemed to have fallen off.
Well,
that's why I have this stance.
I think the plan with David De Gea would always been to move him on within a year or maximum 2 years. Hence why we gave Dean Henderson the contract we did, because you give him a big. It's definitely over 100,000. It could be 150, but definitely over 100,000 a week. So you got two keepers on, at least 475 between them. You've got Romero on 70. You've got Pereira on 30. Lee Grant on 20. They knew they had to get rid of some keepers. The fact you give Dean Henderson that big contract means that you're putting your faith that hopefully at least he can prove that he's good enough. He's played well in the cups. He's played well generally when he has been called upon. Of course, as you said, there has been the errors, but I'm happy to give Dean Henderson he's been given the chance now. Personally, I would have stuck with David De Gea and still given Dean Henderson the cup games. But if he decides to do it the other way round, I don't have an issue. I would have an issue if he said Dean Henderson, you're playing every game between now and the end of the season. Because effectively, what you've done all season is give one the league and one the cup, and then Davide has a child, and you say, all right, no, one keeper gets all of it. So effectively, you're punishing David De Gea for having a child. Basically, you're punishing him. Now, obviously, Solskjaer has to think about himself, because if you want to win a cup, you go with the best keeper, you go with the best team. He has to think about himself. So I would understand why he would do it, but I would be disappointed, because it's like David De Gea has just been not forced out, but just discarded. Just suddenly, middle of the season, discarded, no longer playing for Man United. Maybe gets the last game of the season as a bit of a farewell, which will be disappointing. And the reason why I put this, let's just comment up here and ask you. So Mo Wada says, thank you for everything, David De Gea, club legend in my eyes. Would you say David De Gea is a club legend?
Of course he's a club legend. Of course he's a club legend. Won a league title for us.
Only one Premier League title.
One Premier League title. Right. Well, first of all, for me, to be in the legend conversation, you need to do something significant in a short amount of time, or be a top player for us and stay with us for the best part of a decade. And he's done the latter. He's won a league title when he was in his infancy, and as far as I'm concerned, when he was in his prime, he was the best goalkeeper in the world for about 2 seasons, you could argue. 100%. And unfortunately, we didn't have the team around him to deliver more titles and to win Champions League. FA
and
Cups,
the reality is the only trophy he hasn't won is actually the Champions League.
Champions League.
Yeah.
He's won League Cups with us, FA Cups, Europa Leagues. He's a Man United legend. There's just why wouldn't he be? Not our greatest goalkeeper, like someone tried to tell me on Twitter today. But yeah, Schmeichel's number one. But would we have him above Van der Sar? Would you have him above Van der Sar?
I tell you why, it's so hard. Was he a better goalkeeper for us than Van der Sar? Maybe. Was he a greater goalkeeper? You say no, because greatness, it's about winning. It's about legacy. And remember, Van der Sar obviously got Vidic and Ferdinand in front of him, but Van der Sar, Vidic, and Ferdinand's got the record of the most number of games consecutive without conceding a goal. Like those kind of things as a goalkeeper is what you live by: the Golden Gloves, the number of clean sheets, etc., etc. He was like, would you? Was Van der Sar the best keeper in the world? 2008.
This is what
he may well have been, but that's probably because Czech had an injury and Czech kind of went down because of the injury. And you could argue that Van der Sar was the best keeper in the world around 2008, 2009.
But this is the thing. David De Gea's peak, when he was the best goalkeeper in the world, he was for me.
Crazy.
That's crazy. A higher level. That's a higher level than Van der Sar here.
I agree. I agree with that. Concerned. I agree. The saves that he was pulling out. Unbelievable.
Van der Sar just didn't make mistakes. Don't get me wrong, he was a world-class goalkeeper. Didn't make mistakes, but he weren't doing otherworldly things. Now, maybe Van der Sar was so good technically, he didn't have to do otherworldly things. You can make that.
Well, that's what some people say with Alisson. He doesn't pull off these world-class saves because his positioning is great.
Oh, I saw him do something the other day that made me be like, whoa. It was simple. The ball moved, right? But most goalkeepers in the Premier League would have punched this ball while they were diving for it.
He just catched it.
He caught the ball.
Yeah, he's amazing at the catch. Just like that.
Just hold on a second. He was moving. He was already going to the ground. The ball has swerved, and it's like he knew it was going to swerve.
But that's the thing. I think you're looking at the nuance of it, because it wasn't spectacular. Because he wasn't going one way and tipped it the other way or something like that. No one's going to see. You're not going to get a replay of it on the timeline and that kind of thing.
It's because he moved before the ball swerved. How do you move before the ball
he's a crazy good goalkeeper.
Yeah, that's crazy. But no, De Gea for me, I'd have him above Van der Sar just because, he was doing some otherworldly things.
Van der Sar won as a champion. I'll
tell you a secret, Neeks. I'm going to tell you a secret. See that Champions League final we lost, the Barca, the first one? That Eto'o goal, I've never excused him for that Eto'o
goal. At the near post.
I've never... Him and Vidic. I always say to people, if that was Rio...
Did he cut inside Vidic?
Eto'o mugged Vidic off. If that was Rio, Neeks, you see it on Twitter today. You know you would. People would never let that go. So the way he mugged off Vidic and that little outside of the foot little
at the near post,
and that's where Van der Sar's athleticism, he couldn't react. That's why, and his hand was weak. But we're nitpicking. We're lucky enough to say we've got, the three goalkeepers we're moaning about between who's the greatest. But no, he's a legend, man. He's a legend. It's just his time is up. That's all.
Let me bring up the team. Oh, sorry, 1 second. See some more comments, but I'll get back to the comments in a second. So
I
yeah,
love
the
Rachel,
team.
man. Rachel's ruthless as well. So I
I know she. I see all her tweets all the time. The way she just kills certain people on Twitter is brilliant. But listen, so we've got a team here: Henderson, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, Shaw. I think that's normal at the back. Bailly's not in the squad, so I haven't heard Solskjaer speak necessarily about injury, but the fact that he's not in the squad suggests an injury. Either way, whether injury or not, it tells me he's done. Because if it's an injury, he's done. If he's not injured and still out of the squad, then he's definitely done. So in the summer, Bailly has to move on.
Facts.
Midfield pivot. I think this is the biggest. No, I won't say contention, but it's always a discussion that comes up with Manchester United, which is in the sense of which is the most important position. Who should be playing in terms of the summer transfers? Who should be playing there? Why is Pogba being played wide left, wide right, as opposed to Fred? Is Matic? I mean, I think most people now kind of know Matic is completely done, but there was an argument a few months ago. People like, well, Matic and Pogba are our best two, and it's like,
because Matic
for 3 games after lockdown,
he can find his legs randomly one game and trick you again.
yeah.
But then he stays in the team and he reminds you he's finished. So
and then we've got Bruno, of course, Rashford back from injury on the left. And there was a comment from someone saying he thinks Ollie's ruining Rashford. Let me see.
Because he's overplaying him with injuries.
He says Ollie's killing Rashford. Let the guy rest. Well, he rested over the international break, so I'd hope that if he's playing today, he's back fit. Greenwood and Cavani as the other front three. Let's start with the midfield pivot. Are you happy to see that, Fred and Pogba?
Yeah, Fred didn't go to Brazil. Obviously, no, I don't think any Brazilian.
Yeah, I don't think anyone went to Brazil,
from the Premier League, at least. So
I don't know if they played. I don't think
they were not qualified, so they didn't play any games. So Fred didn't travel. So Fred's been in Manchester, I hope, chilling, relaxing, getting his mind right, because he's played too many games. Like, he's a squad player. Like, I get on Fred a lot, but it's because he plays too many games, and we see his flaws too often. But Fred starting today, I don't have a problem with it. He's had a week's rest, maybe longer. 2 weeks rest, 10 days rest. So I've got no problem with that. I, like many people, after the way we played in the second half against Sevilla in the Europa League, would have liked to see this pivot throughout this season.
Yes.
But Pogba having COVID, then having to be eased back in, bad form as a team, and then him getting injured, we haven't been able to see this pivot. And these are the things that people, when discussing Ollie's picks in these positions, you need to put it into context and discuss these things. Pogba had COVID for 3 months. Matic, we know, doesn't find his legs till January. Fred and McTominay are just solid and will compete. You saw what happened to Chelsea West Brom. Nothing about system and tactics. You have to run first in the Premier League. You have to, especially after an international break. Coming up against West Brom, you don't have as many internationals as you. They're going to outrun you. And if you can't match that, they'll beat you.
Yeah,
So
I think when you talk about the Chelsea game, 100%. I think the lack of energy in that team was probably the most striking thing.
I sent Jem a message, a voice note before the game started. Like, bro, I'm telling you, you guys are going to be 2-0 down in 20 minutes because your player. I've just got a feeling your players ain't going to run and West Brom will hit you. And he messages me at 1-0. You're wrong, mate. And then the amount.
You didn't hear from him for the rest of the game.
But no, I've got no issues with that midfield. As long as it's Pogba and one of the others, and not Matic because he's just finished. I don't complain. Why am I going to cry because it's Fred over McTominay over Fred? What am I crying about? It's like crying over, I don't know, over like goat milk and something else milk. I don't know. Like, it's just what am I crying about? Like, it's just there's no issue.
No, listen, I'm cool. Yeah, I'm cool with this midfield too, especially against a Brighton. I know it's not going to work in every game. Top, been playing the big teams, etc. It can be punished, but with the players at our disposal, I think I know it's a horse for course in terms of who you're playing, but I would say all things being equal, when we are the better side on the pitch, this is our best team. It's a team that can defend. It's a team that, and then you've got the players up front to attack. We don't have a right winger. We know we need that, but it's our best striker playing there. Is Greenwood our best right winger? Maybe at the moment, but I think going forward, of course, we know he can't play that position long term. We want to see the likes of Ahmad come through, and of course, we want a proper signing in that position. But in terms of the two in there, we need the energy of Fred. I think the energy of Fred is so important. I said it. One of the statements I made after we lost 6-1 to Spurs, I said Fred needs to start pretty much every game from now to the end of the season. Now, I know he's got his faults. I know he's not good enough for Man United. I know that if a good offer comes in, we probably should sell, and we're more likely to get a good offer for him than we are for McTominay because of his international status. And I think he can do a job on the continent. But we've got no other player in the team like him in terms of the attributes of the energy that he can, the snapping at people's heels and getting the winning the ball back. The issue comes when he has to do something with the ball. But I think the defensive capabilities of him is so important that even a McTominay cannot match in terms of that. So Fred and Pogba for me is a good midfield, and we just if we see a good Pogba today, I think we win the game. I think when Pogba plays well, we win. I
wouldn't have a problem with McTominay playing because he offers goals that Fred doesn't. But still, I'm hoping by the end of the season, Fred gets that goal with his right foot that Ollie's been telling him he's going to get. That would be hilarious. We know what the timeline's going to look like if that happens. I'm hoping that it's a lot because we're playing Brighton. We're at home. There's a lot less balance because when you play double pivot, there has to be balance. But in that second half against Sevilla, it was more Fred single pivot kind of, not quite. But
Pogba was pushing much more.
Yeah, when he had the opportunity to. See, it's all about timing, and that's what frustrates me about our team in general. Whenever we play a game, all I care about is: are we retaining the ball? Is our rhythm good? Are we making unacceptable errors and giving the ball away? When we don't do those things and we control games and sustain attacks, Paul Pogba can get forward more consistently. It's when we don't do those things, he just has to be a traditional double pivot player. But when you control games, you win the second ball. Then he can break. He knows now we're in control. I can go forward now. So hopefully that's what we see today. I'm hoping anyway. But as far as Greenwood,
go on.
Yeah, Greenwood on the right, man. I sort of feel bad for him playing out there. I'm not gonna lie. It's just, we just don't have.
Would you have rather see Ahmad today, for example? I kind of would have, because especially when you got Cavani. You need someone who's going to get the ball into the box. I'll be honest
with you. Again, when I say these things, I don't think Daniel James is better than Greenwood or Diallo is better than Greenwood. But for the balance of the team, there are subtle nuances and benefits that you just don't appreciate because they're not obvious.
Yeah.
But having that threat of a winger who's going to hug that touchline, and his first thought is, where's Cavani running to? Let me find him, as opposed to the first thought being, let me try and dribble, let me do a step over, let me see if I can shoot. Then let me see who's available. Like it's a different. You're wasting the runs of Cavani potentially when the ball goes out to that side. That's my only concern. But obviously, if we create chances for Greenwood, we know he'll take them when he's playing well. So
I just wanted to quickly go back. I saw a comment from Tyrone Marshall. No, sorry, a tweet from Tyrone Marshall from Manchester Evening News. So Harry Maguire making his 100th United appearance today.
Wow,
something he's achieved in less than 2 seasons. Wow. Now level in Man United games with Eric Bailly, who joined the club 3 years before him.
Wow.
That's like that shows, one, the level of consistency of Harry Maguire, and I guess how much Solskjaer relies on him, and two, the inconsistency and unavailability of Eric Bailly and why he's done. He's done at Man United. I like him as a defender. I think he's our best or at least most useful defender in the way we want to play. But he's done. Very concerning tweet here from Simon Peach, as Mad Gamer puts in the comments. So I'll read it as from what he said. Man United boss Solskjaer has told MUTV that Anthony Martial sprained his knee with France and could be out for the rest of the season.
Oh, Deschamps was chatting nonsense then.
Well, so Solskjaer and Martial, as a quote, he said, unfortunately, he sprained his knee with France. Losing Anthony for what might be the rest of the season is very disappointing, especially when the reports and signals are from, I'm guessing from France, this is not word of error, from that it wasn't anything serious, but it looks a bad one. That's what I just said.
Deschamps was lying, little liar. Before France's the game after, Deschamps was like, yeah, he has a little problem. We'll assess it. What do you mean, a little problem?
That's bad. And that's probably even more of a reason why I would play one of the wingers, because now you got 2 strikers. You got Cavani and you got Greenwood. If one of them pull up in this game,
hold on a second. Who put? Did you read it from the chat, or did somebody
Simon
put
Peach?
that?
Simon Peach.
Who's he associated with?
BBC.
Hold on a second.
But it's a quote that he's quoted social.
Yeah, so but why is his quote? I'm reading it now because I'm reading the Manchester Evening News, and all it says is he sprained his knee with France. When they go away, it's fingers crossed and hope they'll come back fit. You've added a lot more context.
So look, yes, because he's got two tweets. So he's got I don't know which one. 16 minutes ago, he put a tweet and he says, and just under that, it's replied to his own tweet as Fred. So it's a Fred, and it's a social quote which says, unfortunately, he sprained his knee with France, and this is social saying it. Losing Anthony for what might be the rest of the season is very disappointing. So social actually saying that.
Manchester Evening News not said that? But sorry, Neeks, you know me. When it comes to sources, I don't trust these people. I don't trust.
No, Simon Peach is very. If you're not following him already, follow him. He's very good. Okay. It says chief writer of the PA news agency. He's very, very good. Southampton supporter, but he's he fought on all things Manchester. But yeah, that's bad. That's bad.
That's devastating for him because he's just got back into, forget Man United, right? People forget what started his confidence, or what destroyed his confidence was missing sitters for France. He got back into the France team, and he the amount of chances he was missing in those games of the first international break was shocking. Then he's come back and continued that with United. For him to be injured for the rest of the season and not play for France in the Euros, his confidence is going to be, Jesus Christ. I feel bad for him now. That's horrible.
Damn, man.
That's horrible. Because we'll survive without him. We're in second place without him. We'll survive.
Yeah. We're.
But now I'm thinking.
But this is what I'm saying. That I think
what player have we got coming back to us next season now? That's what I'm wondering.
We have no idea. Because if he doesn't make the Euros, we have no idea what Martial we're getting. Is it going to be the same Martial? Is he going to have a chance to regain some form and confidence before next season? I mean, Indiana's just going to say, well, we need a striker anyway, so it doesn't make a difference. But
we need another striker.
But I said, that's what. After that, I would even be more willing to start Ahmad or Dan James, because you've got two strikers left for the rest of the season potentially.
Yeah.
Which means that if one of these two pull up in this game, you've got one striker for the Europa League and the Premier League. I think you have to at this point rotate between Cavani and Greenwood as a striker.
Facts.
I think you have to.
And I think we need to start seeing Greenwood.
Yes.
We have to push him into that position and see what he can do. But I'm not. Do you know what it is though? Even Greenwood, even him, there's certain things when he's in the box. I'm like, okay, he's not the number 9 people think he is. Do you know what I mean? Like he's not. His instincts are actually not. They're not. Ruud van Nistelrooy, Javier Hernandez, Haaland. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I'll be watching him in the box. Leaks, and I'm like, okay, like you can say it's because he's young, but there are certain instincts and certain things that
even at that age,
age. And again, let's keep it real. Everybody can act like a genius now, but when you first saw Marcus Rashford, we all thought he was a striker.
Yes.
Let's not pretend and act like we all knew he was going to be a left forward.
But you know what I'd say, Danny. Also, the fact that obviously he is 19. Obviously, if we are playing him on the right, which we have been doing for a long, long time now, are we also training him on the right? Is he doing training as a striker? So at the moment that he does go up front, we're seeing those instincts, because those strikers that you mentioned, even the Heartlands, every day in training, he's playing as a striker. He's training as a striker. So when you go on the pitch, we see it. Whereas he's come out of the academy and he's played on the right. So every day in training, is he training as a right winger?
Was it you that put out the quotes about what Haaland was saying about Ollie and how he trained him at Mulder and the things that he taught him? Was it you that put those tweets out?
Not me. But let us know. Yeah. What did he say?
So Haaland, the type of detail, basically, of course, like Man United fans skip this because it's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's Haaland, it's Mulder. But Haaland didn't have to go this far to praise Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He gave details about how Ollie was teaching him how to finish, how to move, and how to be a striker, and how important it was for him when he was coming up through I think he might have been 16, 17, however old he was at the time. But he was very, very specific about the things that Ollie taught him, and ended the quote saying, "I have to thank Ollie for making me better, for teaching me those things." So it's not a coaching problem. It's just the skill set of the player, the pressure we're
No,
under
but
as
yeah,
a team and having to get results. When I look at
but
Greenwood,
Danny, he's coaching him in the position of a striker.
no,
So
but my
the question
point
I'm
is this.
asking: are they
But when
coaching him
people
in the
asked,
position as a
when
right
people
winger?
asked Oli Gunnar Solskjaer, why isn't he playing as a striker? He said, yeah,
Mm.
if Mason wants us to learn, and these are the little things people need to pay
I remember him
attention
saying
to.
that. I remember him
Oli's
saying
been
that.
giving people hints about Greenwood for ages. That's why
Yeah.
you know me, Neeks, privately behind the scenes. I keep telling you, man, don't be so when it comes to Greenwood. Trust me, it's not everything's not as it seems. He's been giving little hints about Greenwood from day one.
Yeah, the heading.
If he wants to learn how to head, come on. If that's a different manager saying that, you respond to that differently.
Yeah.
Because it's Oli, you just dismiss it and say it's nonsense. No, he's telling you maybe Mason ain't doing the work he needs to do or showing the interest in doing the work he needs to do to become a complete striker. And if you break down his game, what part of his game makes you think he is a natural nine? It's his finishing.
It's finishing, yeah.
But Mo Salah's finishing's elite. He's not a natural nine, is he?
No.
But because he's quick, you say he's a winger. Mason Greenwood's quick, but he's not electric quick. Don't get me wrong. Maybe he turns out to be a 9. Maybe he does. But even if we played him as a 9 right now, he's still got a lot of improving to do. But don't get me wrong. I want. These are the things I just want to see, Neek, so I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, there's a question. All I'm saying is there's a question mark. So if Martial is injured for the rest of the season, like you said, we've got the Europa League games coming back to back now. We can't trust Cavani back to back games. I think it's inevitable we're going to see Greenwood as a striker.
And he's been playing him as a striker in a few games recently.
If it is Diallo or James on the right, and these guys are beating people, we know Danny James ain't beating no one, but the man they're putting crosses in, we'll learn a lot about Greenwood's movement and his instincts. Because people talk about coaching. Javier Hernandez didn't have to be coached how to attack the near post. He just knew. Yeah.
He was hungry for goals. You have to be hungry for those.
Goals. You have to be like a fiend itching for your fix. I need a goal.
Comment here from Shane. I know you're a big Telles fan. No, he's not on the bench, and I don't know why. I haven't read all the quotes from Solskjaer, so maybe he's.
I need to see the bench actually.
So the bench is. So we've got obviously David De Gea on the bench. Who's the defender? So we've got Brandon Williams, Axel Tuanzebe, Matic, McTominay, Van der Beek, Diallo, and Dan James. So that is the bench. I don't know any news on Telles. I haven't seen anything. So if you don't know, let me know in the comments. While you're here, make sure you hit the like button as well and subscribe if you are new. Devers Avocado, Rachel Maguire is underrated by his own fans. It's sad.
Facts.
He's more than underrated. He's hated by a lot of Man United fans, which is I don't like it. I hate it.
What do you do though? You can't really. He needs to have like a perfect season.
Yeah.
He needs to have a perfect season where there's no one can do nothing on Twitter. No one can just, and even then, if it happens when we have, say, Varane, fingers crossed, football gods, if you're listening, they'll just like give the credit to Varane.
Yeah.
But then I'll be like, but you say man said Varane was nothing without Ramos, like make it make sense.
Yeah, true, yeah. That is very
so I'm
true.
already prepared for them. But you know what you were saying earlier about the gay.
Not yet, Shiloh Pongo. I thought about it, but do I do watch-alongs? I thought about it, but if I was to do, I probably wouldn't do it for football. To be honest, I might do it for something like F1. Wouldn't do it for cricket because not a test match anyway. That's 8 hours long. I don't even know if I can do a live stream for that long. I could do it for a T20, maybe, but I have thought about it. But maybe for F1,
If you did a watch-along for a test match, the view count on that, just because of the unique clicks, would be insane.
I know,
like 100,000 views. Oh, you should do it just to get the data, just to test it out.
You were gonna say something?
Yeah, just that. Listen, I'm happy to see Henderson number 1 for all comps. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't think the game will respond well to this. I don't think whenever he has contract issues, he drops his game. I just don't think I don't trust him mentally.
I saw a tweet, someone saying that, because obviously we've heard the news in the last few days that Man United are basically trying to get rid of him in the summer.
Yeah.
And the fact that, remember, his girlfriend or partner, I don't know what their relationship is like either, but partner doesn't live in England and she's had the baby now, he's probably going to want to go back to Spain. Like, it's one thing living without your partner for that long, which is going to be hard anyway. I had a long distance relationship from bloody London to Birmingham, and that was long. So from England to Spain is going to be long. Without your child as well. So he may well have gone to old Solskjaer and whoever and say, yeah, my wife's expecting or partner's expecting, I want to leave at the end of the season. He may have said this ages ago. And obviously, once him flying over there for the birth, that's a perfect, it's a perfect storm to just phase him out. So, yeah, I think it's very, very, very plausible that David De Gea leaves in the summer. The question is to who, how much. Do we have to end up paying some of his wages? Because bloody 350,000 a week is a hell of a lot of money. It's a hell of a lot of money.
It is, but if we do what we did with the Sanchez situation, we'll be fine. And for those who don't know, we paid a sports agent, we paid an agency to sort that out because we couldn't. So if you do the same thing, I suspect that's why the news has come out now, because that's whoever we're putting the feelers out now, because that's not something we can wait until the summer to address. We need to let people know that he's going to be available. We're going to have to be creative with it. If we send him out on loan, ask somebody to pay 50% of his wages, which I believe is 7 million net. So you save a little bit of money, and then you tell him you'll cover. Because I don't understand having to pay people off. At the end of the day, you move football clubs, negotiate your new deal with them. In fact, we need to be open with it. David, you're leaving. Go see what you can get. Go see what you can get, and we'll cover the difference.
Cover the rest.
Just be open and transparent. Like, work together to get rid of. We need to move like NBA teams move. Yo, is it a 3-team trade? Is this what we need to do?
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if it takes 3-team trade to get the deal done, let's get it done.
Yeah.
Let's not put this. Let's not set some strict rules and parameters for this situation. Is all I'm saying. We need to be creative.
Do we need a? Would you think that we need to go and buy another keeper in the summer? Because obviously,
listen,
David De Gea, if he goes. I mean, Joe Pereira, I don't know what his kind of status is.
Can I just say, since David De Gea, like, apart from the Norwegian guy we got, I forgot his name, Lindardsson, whatever his name was. Lindegaard. Our second goalkeeper's been pretty damn good. Our track record of finding goalkeepers, for whatever reason, we seem to be decent at doing it. So, yeah, the number 2 just needs to be solid. That's all. I'm not that concerned.
On the comment of goalkeepers, because Adrian made a point earlier about this kind of phasing out keepers is normal. We saw it with, I think he mentioned Ter Stegen at Barca, who was under Bravo probably before Bravo went to Man City. We saw it with, and I mentioned it before, Courtois at Chelsea when they kept Czech for one more year and then moved him on to Arsenal, and then Courtois came through as the number 1. So I think that was always the plan with Henderson this year, giving him 1 season to see what he can do in training, in the cup games, etc., in some of the league games, and then if he's good enough, which I think obviously they think that he is, they're gonna have him as number 1 next year. But yeah, I think we'll probably go and need to get another keeper.
Just go find go look at a decent international goalkeeper who's not playing for a top team. He'll probably come to United and be happy to be back up.
Indiana girls, an actual, no, I agree.
Indiana, come on, man.
Actual striker up front, yes, we know. Yes. Greenwood has played through the middle and wide in the academy as well. Moada says, even as a striker, Greenwood isn't in the Haaland mode. RVP played on the wing too. He would do no harm. He did, to be fair, RVP, when he was at Arsenal, like not as soon as he joined, but not too long after, they were playing a 4-3-3. And he was playing on the right-hand side.
The right coming in.
Yeah.
Didn't he come mid-season or did he come late? I think there was no window. I don't think there was a window when he joined.
Back in 2000. When did he join, actually? I don't know.
When did he join? RVP would have been
No. It would definitely have been. It would have been 03 or 04, somewhere around there, because
there was no window. No, right? Was there a window?
Well, you mean like a summer window or just no window?
You know what? Maybe a few games started in the season, then he popped up.
Because the window used to close.
Because I remember watching him. See, Neeks remember this. Do you remember when Dutch football was on Channel 5?
Yeah.
So that season, I watched him play for, was it Feyenoord? Who was he playing for again? Feyenoord.
I think it was Feyenoord. I think he was playing for Feyenoord. So I watched 2 games of him on Channel 5. Yeah. Or at least 1 game of him. That I was like, rah. He scored a mad goal, did something crazy. Then I see him playing for Arsenal. And I was just like, fuck, they got another one. I was like, they got another Reyes. Remember when we thought Reyes was going to be 2001. 2001. No, 2004. Yeah, 2004.
2004. Remember when Reyes looked like he was going to be that guy?
Yeah, like Gary Neville kicked him out of the league.
Yeah. But I remember when they got Reyes, he looked like he was going to be flipping Ballon d'Or level the way he was playing his first season.
Shane says, can we trust Cavani not to get injured until the end of the season? No, we cannot.
Nope.
No, we cannot. And one thing, Cavani, I think Solskjaer didn't. No, maybe it wasn't Solskjaer I mentioned it, but someone did. It was in the Athletic that when he knows his body, he's 33, 34 years old. He knows his body, so he was not going to exert himself to the extent that's going to injure him. Where a more younger, naive, and experienced player would. If he feels a little something, he's like, "I'm out. I'm not going." Like he's not even going to put himself in that risk, which is, it's fair enough for a player of his age. He doesn't. Yeah. He's got nothing to prove. He's got nothing to prove in the game, at all. And he'll, whether he stays with us or he goes to Boca in the summer. I think he just wants to see out his career without any major injuries.
Yeah, it's called load management. That's what they call it in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
It didn't work for the Clippers last year, but
nope.
ZP says Tellez is ill. Okay, fair enough.
Cool. Hopefully it's not COVID again.
Talk about the game. Yeah, hopefully not. Briefly, Shiloh Pongo. Say Shiloh, I don't know. To be honest, Brighton are not a bad side. Do you think they would give Man United a good game? I'll go with you, Danny, first. What are you expecting from the game? Not necessarily the result, but in terms of, are you expecting a tough game from Brighton, who impressed people under part of this season in terms of the way they play, chances created, etc.?
Yeah, I do. I'm expecting a tough game. I'm trying to balance it between what my expectations should be and what. I don't know what to expect from this team. That's the problem. That's the problem. Again, I don't discount the fact that it's not an excuse. When you come back from an international break, it's tricky. But looking at the lineup now, Wan-Bissaka didn't go. Shaw did get a little bit of a rest. Rashford got a rest. Greenwood obviously got a rest. Cavani didn't go nowhere. Fred didn't go nowhere. Yeah, no, we should be okay. I'm expecting a tough game, but I've got to be honest. We should be winning this game 4-0, man.
What is it?
Winning this game 3-4-0.
Big up Yannicka in the chat. Check out.
I don't want to be on my timeline. I'm not making no predictions. Let me tell you what I want. I do not want to be going through my timeline and seeing man talking about subs at halftime. Because if you see that, you know things aren't going well when people start talking about subs at halftime, 50 minutes gone. So yeah, we just need to win this game in the first half, man, so we can make some subs, rotate some people. Because if Martial's now out injured, Cavani's likely to get injured. I don't want to be in a situation where we end up in the cycle of bodies dropping again. So for the sake of what we want to achieve, I think we're going to finish the season strong. Yeah, we need to wrap this game up. At least be a goal or 2 goals to the good in the first half, so we can start. Yeah,
well, if we win this game, we got 11 points clear of 5th. 11 points clear. For me, that's top 4 done and dusted. Done, and doesn't mean you can rest up and relax for the rest of the season, but it means listen. If you drop enough points to drop outside top 4, heads must roll. Yeah. Heads will have to roll. People have to be gone because 11 points is with what?
But Neeks, we're not going to. We're not.
No, I know we're not. I'm just saying it's done. It's dusted. It's
I think we've lost 1 game in our last, it's been ages. I think since January, we've lost 1 domestic game.
The Sheffield. Oh, you mean, Leicester? Leicester in the FA Cup.
I mean in the Premier League. In the Premier League.
Wasn't Sheffield the last loss?
Yeah, that's the last loss.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm not expecting to drop 11 points to drop outside top 4. On top of that, dropping 11 points doesn't mean necessarily drop out top 4, because as we've seen already, the likes of Leicester, Chelsea, Spurs, etc., they're going to drop points anyway. So for me, win the game, get over and done with, focus on the Europa League. See, that was one of my biggest concerns early in the season. People were like, do you want to win the FA Cup, Europa League? And I was like, well, it's going to be a race for top 4. The Europa League, carrying the Europa League alongside that is hard. FA Cup's easy. It's 1 game.
Oh no, let's keep it real. Let's keep it real, Neeks. We had a conversation. Let's just give some secrets to the people. We had a big debate in our chat. Yeah. Me and you were like, sacrifice the Europa League.
Yeah, 100%. Because I'm like, it's going to hamper
sacrifice us. Sacrifice it.
But we're in a position here, again, what nobody really expected at the beginning of the season. We're in a position where we can focus on the Europa League. And not in the Arsenal way. Not in the Arsenal way where the league is too far gone, that there's nothing to fight for in the league. Is that we've achieved the minimum expectation of qualifying for the Champions League via the league. So we've done that. That's secure. We can focus on the league. We can make early substitutions. Hopefully, as you said, we go 2-3-0 up and make some substitutions. Bring on the Diallo, Greenwood, Twanzebe, maybe Williams. Give them some games because we're gonna need them. We're gonna need them.
I've got 2 questions for you, Neeks.
Go on.
1, do you think we'll keep a clean sheet
today? No.
No. Okay.
Brighton play good football, and I think some of their passing moves can kind of open us up. But because they play good football and they do like to attack, I'm confident that we can win. Famous last words, I know, but I like
Okay.
teams who come and attack. Well, we like teams that attack us. Now they're
If
not
they
going to
have,
go.
yeah, if they have
Yeah.
some ambition to counter.
So
Yep,
I think they. Let me look at the league table to see where they are, because I
But
don't
that's the
think they're
thing
even.
people miss. Like when we played
Brighton.
against West Ham, was West Ham our last home game? It was our last home game.
Yes.
And
Yes.
people were mad we weren't breaking them down, but this is a top 6 team that didn't want to counter attack.
Exactly. They sat back for the game. There's nothing. What can you do?
What are you supposed to do? So I'm hoping Brighton
do?
don't do that, but I'm concerned Lindelof and Wan-Bissaka, they're susceptible to the type of football that Brighton play.
Well, we saw in the crossfield ball, the first game where they just kept going. I think Rachel mentioned earlier that Solly March is out. So, and was it Solly March? Yeah. But
even still, it's part of the system. It's what they do. Switching the plays, what they do, and Greenwood people. I keep it real. He be lazy. He be lazy sometimes. You don't want to try back. We watched it back before I got done for the copyright Neeks. Remember? He's standing there and he's watching Wan-Bissaka get destroyed and not moving. He was just watching it happen. So that's my only concern defensively. Do you think we'll play well though? Do you think the rhythm will be there? Do you think we'll create chances?
I'm gonna say yes. I'm actually a bit confident going to the game. I mean, I had my little rest with the 2-week international break. I barely tuned into any international football, because funny, when I tweeted about good goal by Maguire, you're like, I can't believe you're watching England. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's literally the first football that I turned on over the international break, other than Jamaica against USA. Everything else, I was watching cricket, like there's like 3 different matches, watching F1. I just tried to completely tune out of football. So I'm refreshed. So maybe that's the confidence, because I'm refreshed, and I hope the players are refreshed. They got a bit of a break. A few people that were injured have come back. We know Pogba was back just before the break as well. Rashford is back. I think we're going to create chances. I think we're going to win the game. And let's be honest, it's a game we should be winning. Man United are home to Brighton.
Yep.
We should be winning it. There's no excuses if we don't. But listen, guys, thank you very much for joining me. Thanks, Danny. Obviously, I'm going to be on the Football Terrace on the match review. I think someone was asking earlier, so I'm going to be there for the match review, and then I'll be on Neeks Sports after. So make sure you lot join me. Check out for the link when I set that up. But yeah, Man United, Brighton, goal 11 points clear. Dean Henderson, listen, I think David De Gea is the better keeper right now, but Dean Henderson is the future of Man United, so I have no agenda. I want him to have a good game. I don't want to have a man in the match game, because that means we're getting peppered, but I want him to have a good game. I want him to show the qualities that he has shown so far, that Solskjaer put the trust in him. And I also want, the little mistakes that we have seen to be slowly weeded out of his game. So I'm confident going into this. And then we can look forward to Granada on the week. As I said, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out Devil in the DLs, and of course the Football Terrace. Big up Devil, Avocado, Indiana, and Yannicka in the chat. I will see you lot soon.